Huge news today as another five-star just named FSU Football as his leader in his recruitment. And the Noles have the inside track to make their 2024 class absolutely elite. Jonathan Daniels has publicly named Florida State as his leader in an interview with On3 Sam Spiegelman. We've also got some news on who FSU's biggest competition is going to be for Daniels that we'll talk about later. That might surprise you, but you don't want to miss who Mike Norvell will shove in a locker to get Daniels' signature. Jonathan Daniels is a five-star offensive tackle according to On3. In fact, he's not only a five-star, he's their number one offensive tackle in the country. 247 is a little low on him right now. I expect that to rise. Rivals has him pretty appropriately ranked, I think, and ESPN, I think he'll rise there as well. But right now, one of the best players in the country, really, really good according to the On3 industry and the 247 composite. He is a 6'4", 270-pound tackle out of Pensacola, Florida. Florida State's long time been considered the favorite here. On3 has them at a 90+% chance to land him, but Daniels made it official today. As a prospect, he is incredibly strong. He's got great physicality as we start to show you some of his highlights here on the screen. He's really, really effective in both run and pass blocking. I don't really need to brag about how great he is or how good his talent is. There's a reason On3 has him listed as the number one offensive tackle in the country. There's a reason both 247 Rivals and ESPN are also very high on him and have him as a highly rated four-star. He is your prototypical prospect at that tackle position. I think he comes in wherever he ends up signing, again, hopefully Florida State, and making an impact pretty quickly. He moves very, very well for his size. He almost looks trim enough to really play like tight end. I think he's got great athleticism. His feet move extremely well. We'll link his huddle in the description. You can go check that out, but we're showing you the highlights here as we do this. Kid is really talented, and he would be a big get for Florida State. This is huge for the Noles. A day after Charles Lester III announced that FSU was his leader, you get the same from another five-star in Jonathan Daniels. I'll tell you why that's so big and what's so important about that as soon as I give some love to our friends over at Sativadol. Hey, we've told you about them, told you about their sister company, Gramco, but this video is brought to you by Sativadol and their new recovery cream. It's a CBD cream that has 3,000 milligrams of CBD in it, and it will absolutely take care of any of the aches, pains, recovery that you've got going on and you may need it for. If you use CBD cream or any kind of Bengay or anything like that, make sure that you try Sativadol. It is great. We use it in my household. You can get it today for 25% off by using TJ25 at checkout, either sativadol.com or thegramco.com. Right now, you will not regret it. Make sure that you show some love to the people who show love to the channel and take care of us. All right, here's why this is so big for FSU. Lester and Daniels are actively recruiting for the Noles right now. Now, you may not think they are, and they're probably not sending group messages like Cromanhoke or Davis to try and get people in, but they're letting people know, hey, these are the guys that I'm likely going with. This is the team that I'm likely going to play with. And I think these guys want to enjoy their recruitment. I think that they've both kind of talked about how they may decide later in the year and make it official then. Lester came out and said that it might be closer to early signing day. Daniels has talked about taking this a pretty good distance as well. But they're letting other kids that may want to play with them, other ballers in the country, know this is where I'm likely going. I don't know if I fully believe in the concept of silent commits, even though we did a video on that yesterday, and you can watch that by clicking above, but don't do it until this video is over. But I do think naming a public leader, especially when it's against other massive programs, is pretty big. You know, Lester did that coming off of a visit to Bama and Georgia. Again, we'll talk about who Daniels' biggest competition is going to be later on. Let's also give a massive shout out here to Alex Atkins. I think Florida State's extremely close on Jason Zandamela. I think they lead for Mani Satiti. I think those are two other offensive linemen, and there may be others that Florida State is trending very well for. What he's done with the offensive line room at Florida State in his time here is nothing short of phenomenal. In 2023, it is going to be a strength of the team And it looks like it's going to get better and better and better every year. When you look at the guys that we've stacked in recruiting classes, from the Armella class to the Simmons class, and now to what could be a #1 overall offensive tackle type class, it is just going to continue to improve. Here's what they have to do, though. Florida State has to close. They're in pole position for both Daniels and for Lester, but they have to close and maintain that pole position. Speaking of closing, Florida State is extremely close to landing another blue chip prospect, and we put an official announcement in our Discord for that. If you want to know who it is, you can click the link above to join either our Patreon or Discord to get exclusive info on FSU football. Now we told you about some potential opponents for FSU in this recruitment, and they're familiar ones. Florida, Miami, Colorado are probably who you're going up against for this. Two of your biggest rivals in state, and Coach Prime out there in Boulder. You know as well as I do, Coach Prime has a flair for the dramatics, and the other two do a pretty good job of recruiting offensive linemen. Last year, you lost Rod Kearney to Florida. I don't know if that was so much of a loss as opposed to, hey, we were okay with that. But Miami pulled in a really, really nice offensive line class as well. Their offensive line coach, Mirabal, does a great job. Mario Cristobal, with an offensive line background, does a good job of pulling in talented prospects. They pulled in 2 5-star offensive linemen last year, and they will be serious competition here. All in all, though, a great day for FSU as they have their second 5-star in a row, naming them as a leader. Again, Jonathan Daniels out of the Panhandle. I think this is really, really big for the Noles. The recruiting momentum is off the charts right now. And like we just told you, we made an official prediction in our Discord. Our Patreon members have access to that. Florida State is going to get some good news in the next week or so. If you don't want to join Patreon, if you don't want to join the YouTube channel to find out who that is, make sure that you're subscribed so that you do get that info as soon as it drops. We have fortunately been very, very plugged in on what's going on around FSU. We've been able to get you guys a lot of good info on the Seminoles. Hopefully that good info continues. I know that there's some drama going on right now with transfers and the like, but we'll kind of bring you the news, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. We will get that to you right away. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. If you want that inside info, again, go join our Discord, go join our Patreon or the YouTube channel here, and we will get you that as well. If you didn't see our video on FSU possibly having Charles Lester III silently committed already, you can do me a favor and click right here.